Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. Liverpool versus Manchester United preview. That is what this video is going to be about. It's going to be quite casual, but you guys have been asking for it. I've been doing my half-time, full-time reactions this season, and you guys seem to have enjoyed them. I'll be back on Sunday, so make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Make sure you've got your notification bell clicked, ready for when I drop that video. I will look at the game at half-time, give you my thoughts at that moment, so we get the context of half-time. And then I give my tactical analysis and just general opinions at full time as well. So make sure you join me for that one by hitting the subscribe button. We're nearly at 70k. I honestly can't believe it. Christmas Day we hit 60k. So I'm getting a bit confused. So, but if you want to be kind, if you feel like helping me on that road to 100k, let's get to 70k first. You can make a difference by just taking a second and hitting that subscribe button. So do that for me. Like I said, a few people have been asking for a preview to some of these games, and this is just a ginormous game. So it's going to be really simple. Here we go. I'm going to go through my lineups and then how I think, basically justify it and look at the different ins and outs of this team. Because there are obviously two great squads here, two teams that one's struggling with maybe a little bit of confidence or struggling to break down teams in Liverpool, Man United with just huge confidence, starting to believe, but this is Judgment Day. This game is Judgment Day for Man United because for me personally, I'll say it, I don't see Man United as title contenders. Not yet. I've seen too many caveats to too many games, but in a game like this, if they can go somewhat toe-to-toe, they've got to be clever with how they've done it, and they have done that in some of the games since that Spurs game where it was absolutely terrible. Arsenal, as if we're still calling them a big six side, they went there to sort of stunt them and had their game plan down to a T. But against the Man City teams of this league, the teams that dominate possession, Man United do have a good way of playing that stunts the opposition but allows them to create a few chances. And this is going to be exactly the same for me. And it's just going to be a massive moment in the season, because if Liverpool come out with a big statement and just trounce Man United, then I think Man United go back in their box and the cracks start to kind of open up for this Man United side, who I think have really, really progressed and deserve a lot of credit. But to win the title, for me, I can see Man City and Liverpool just gently making their way ahead of the crowd, in my opinion. But I might be wrong. I generally am. So this is a game where I can be proven wrong. And I think a lot of the people that don't believe in Man United at this moment in time can be proven wrong. And the big thing, the biggest incentive that, of course, you would have if you're a Man United fan or certainly a player, is Liverpool don't lose at home. Liverpool don't lose at home. So to beat them on their own ground, on their own patch, to stop that incredibly long run would be just ginormous. Liverpool are going to want to make a massive statement here, and my lineup reflects that. I think Liverpool play best when they're on the front foot, and this team here, I think, suggests that a team that will create a lot of overloads. So starting off with the lineups, I'll go with Alisson. Reece Williams are going to play at centre-back because I feel like you want Henderson in midfield. I know they've got more options. You've got lots of Curtis-Jones. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain, who I think could have a massive part to play in the second half of this game for me. But you need Henderson. You need Henderson in midfield. He makes Alexander-Arnold sing. He just makes the midfield sing. He's such a leader there. And I feel like you're wasting such an asset by having him at centre-back. Where is he actually going to do that much better in terms of the counter-attacking and attacking options that Man United have got than Reece Williams will? I'm not sure. I feel like Man United, in terms of getting the best out of Rashford recently, they've taken a bit of a leaf out of Spurs' book in terms of having that player on that left-hand side who can make those diagonal darting runs. Rashford's movement is brilliant. And so, although it is a bit of a clash here, I feel like to have Henderson in the midfield, I don't think you're gaining that much more by having him as a centre-back over someone like Reece Williams, despite his, experience being huge over him. So yeah, Reece Williams I'm putting in the centre midfield. Thiago in centre midfield. An absolutely massive game, and I'll get into that in a second. Wijnaldum, obviously always brilliant in these games. His movement will be crucial as well. Firmino, I think, is going to have a massive, massive part to play. And of course, Mane and Salah will be the guys looking to score the goals for them. Over to Manchester United. De Gea starts for me, of course. Eric Bailly, I don't think you can swap him out for Lindelof. He's just been brilliant over the last few weeks, and a big part of this great run. Maguire looks better next to him. Bailly's just been brilliant. In these big games, that's sometimes where you see those mistakes come through, but I think he's completely earned the right to do that. The big thing with Man United a lot of the times, you almost have this sort of box, right? Here, where they want to protect those two centre-backs. Because that was the big problem in that Spurs game. And that could be the problem in this game as well. And that's why he always has that contingency plan of McTominay and Fred. A lot of people would see that maybe it's a bit more like this, where you have Pogba and Fred sitting there. I don't think Fred's good enough to get on the ball and turn. I think he'll struggle with the press. I think we've seen that when teams go, okay, let Fred have the ball as that sitting player. And there's a decision to make where you go Matic or Fred. But Solskjaer trusts McTominay and Fred. And their energy, I think that's what makes Matic miss out in this game for me defensively. Having those two there, they've earned it. They've completely earned it. The problem is with the ball. That's why I think you start Cavani and you don't play someone like Martial in this game. The both fullbacks are going to be under a lot of pressure for me. Shaw and Wan-Bissaka, and I think you'll see them as it might even just be like a line the whole game, to be honest. Wan-Bissaka might need to try and get himself going forward a little bit, but really, I think that back four stays back the whole game for me. Moving into midfield, Pogba, he's been brilliant recently. I think Pogba and Fernandes, they aren't a pairing, but they are, because I think one kind of creates space for the other. Fernandes often works on this right-hand side, picking up the balls in different spaces. McTominay will maybe make a few bursting runs past him, but really Fernandes will look to get on the ball in different areas. But for me, I think they might even look to bypass the press that will inevitably come from Liverpool and use someone like Cavani. I know there's going to be an idea that Man United are a counter-attacking team, and they are. But I also think that for this kind of game with the press and the midfielders that they've got, the problem with the midfielders, as much as they've got confidence, is I just think it's going to be really congested in the middle there. And I don't think Fred is comfortable enough to pick up the ball. And I think McTominay will look to work this space defensively, like he has done in a lot of games. A lot of teams in the Premier League have really strong players on that left-hand side. And we saw it with the Arsenal game. I think you saw it with the Man City game as well. Just covering that left-hand side of the pitch to give Bailly some protection, Wan-Bissaka some protection as well, and give Fernandes that free roll to go wherever he wants to go. Cavani with his back to goal is the best, target man striker that Man United have got. And I think this is a game for him, massively so. And so let me kind of mix it up now, because look, Cavani goes and he's going to try and bully Reece Williams. He's going to try and occupy Fabinho. Fabinho's been brilliant for Liverpool this season, but that isn't his initial position. So that is still, he's really stepped up for Liverpool this year. But Cavani, I think you put him on those two and look to try and occupy those two. Fred and McTominay, like I said, we're going to sit quite deep. Let's move them up a little bit as the game progresses. Maguire and Bailly then given that safety net, which I think down the road is going to hurt them. But generally, that box of four, you see, again, similar to Spurs, where they have Sissoko and Højbjerg do the similar thing. Pogba's got a very interesting role to play here. Alexander-Arnold's going to want to get forward. Let's move these guys forward a little bit. Robertson, of course, is going to be crucial. Mane is going to be right up here, and Wijnaldum will be in different spaces. Firmino, for me, needs to drop nice and deep and really freeze these four players. Get off Bailly, get off Maguire, and allow space for those two wide players to make those darting runs in. Pogba has got such an interesting role in this game for me. Such an interesting role. Because I think what's going to happen here, if this is the team that gets picked, and this is the team that I would pick personally, for both of these guys, this is where I start to see who wins this game for me. Because I think, look, you bypass the press if you're buying Maguire or Shaw, or you go wide to these guys. We've seen that a lot of the time, and you play it forward, be it to Pogba or to Cavani. But I think Cavani needs to come and get the ball as much as he can. Fernandes will look to do that as well. And then Rashford will be the one that makes those darting runs time and again. And that's a great, that's a real weakness for Reece Williams. But it's an area for Liverpool that I don't think they could really get around. I don't think they can get around the fact that either you play Henderson there and you're weaker, or you play in midfield, or you play Williams there and you're weaker because you've just got a youngster playing there. But he did well in the Spurs game. They are going to target him. But again, I feel like for Liverpool, there are so many overloads that can be created. Thiago's brilliant on the ball. Thiago will drop in and pick up the ball at different times. Robertson's going to be right up here a lot of the time. And I think there's a lot of dead space there as well. So for him, he'll be able to get on. And I think, again, there's going to be quite a few overloads here. The big thing... hang on. Let's get rid of that. The big thing for Thiago, Henderson and Wijnaldum as well, I love the different options that you have here to kind of rotate. Wijnaldum can play here, of course. Henderson can play here, of course. Thiago can play here, of course. So I think, although Thiago will be the guy who often drops down because you'll have Henderson, Wijnaldum doing that work a lot of the time in terms of going to press, Fred, McTominay, Pogba as well. All of them can drop down and pick up the ball. And what that means for me is, say, for example, it's Henderson that drops in and picks up the ball. Wijnaldum stays out of the way. You're getting one of the best playmakers in the world. You're going to be able to get him on the ball in these areas. And you're going to create overloads. Mane, again, can create overloads in terms of darting runs in two ways. One, of course, going this way. Oh, hang on. One, of course, going this way, where Firmino needs to drop deep. And for me, Firmino needs to just continue to drop deep. Because even if he becomes a midfielder in this game, that's absolutely fine, I think. Because it's going to be that starting point for Mane and for Salah. Nice and wide. And then causing those problems in behind, where you've got Bailly and Maguire who are a little bit static, a little bit nervous. Shaw's going to be nervous about the movement of Salah. This is where I start to reveal my prediction here. I just feel like it's about the individuals of Man United, and it's about just the whole team play of Liverpool. And I think Man United will come out a little bit, and Liverpool are going to just be a little bit too strong for them with the overloads. They're going to be a little bit conservative in that first half. Maybe it's in the second half that happens. But that's where I think Firmino's got a huge part to play, because I think he needs to have a really free role in this game. Massively free role, because I think it then it confuses somewhat the likes of McTominay and Fred, because they go, oh, we're supposed to follow him, and if you do follow him, then there's spaces for Mane, there's spaces for Salah in these areas. But if he just stays on by, then McTominay and Fred don't have to look over the shoulder and worry about that. Mane and Salah, I just think it's going to be so interesting. This left-hand side in particular, I think is going to be really, really interesting. If I'm Mane, sit behind McTominay, because that's going to freeze them. Because I think Thiago will look to go into this left pocket at different times when Henderson picks up the ball. As soon as he sees him behind him, he'll have that freedom to go move forward, because you can trust in Henderson to be that DM. Wijnaldum almost needs to stay out of the way a lot of the time. Expect those bursting runs from him that he might be able to get on the end of something as well, with so many crosses coming from Robertson. But the overload on this left-hand side, I think, is really, really interesting. For Man United, of course, this isn't a one-sided game for me. It goes two ways. If they're able to stop them, I think McTominay, what I've really liked from him recently is the fact that he gets the ball and he's got the confidence now to burst past a player, and that's where you take players out of the game. Can he deal with the press of Liverpool? I think he probably can, but also, like we said, there are outballs there. I think if you play Martial, I don't think the hold-up play is as strong. I like the idea of Cavani there. And Cavani, again, he can drop in on Henderson and help out, and then isolate Williams through Rashford. The final thing, like I was saying about Pogba, with Robertson so high, there could be spaces... Oh, hang on. There could be spaces here. Sorry, it's the first time ever doing this. Could be spaces here for Fernandes. That alone won't do enough. Cavani, I think he's still got the quality to run in behind, and Fabinho, we know, doesn't have a crazy amount of pace. And with Robertson getting up so far forward, again, there's areas to attack. It will be that diagonal run for both these players, though. They will all shift across as Fernandes gets in place. What that excites me about that when it comes to Pogba is, again, often when you see tandems, you think, oh, they're working right next to each other. They're working on different sides of the pitch. For Pogba, he needs to keep an eye on Wijnaldum. He needs to do his defensive work. He needs to work really hard for them, because, again, there's going to be an overload on this side. And that's, again, why you want to play someone like Wijnaldum, Henderson in this game, so that he can allow Trent to do what he wants to do, which he often does do. When Thiago's the one that's sitting, you get that overload on this right-hand side of 3-on-2. And how good is Pogba going to be able to deal with that defensively, right? But Man United, in terms of them going forward, if you have Fernandes in that space here, if you look for these players here, Cavani, Rashford, it's perfect for Pogba to be on the edge, just to trot forward into the edge of the box, make those late runs on that side. From the other side of it, if you've got these guys moving and Pogba's able to get on the ball on this side, then the opposite counts, right? You've got Rashford who can stay on that left-hand side, Cavani as that centre point, and Fernandes will be the beneficiary of that, because I don't think one pass is going to do it. It's going to have to be that second pass after that. And with so much space here, a late run from Fernandes on the right-hand side, for me, again, is a really exciting option for Manchester United. Both teams got really exciting players to bring off on the bench, but with the starting lineups, that's my sort of thoughts splurged onto a page. I hope that makes sense. That's just how I see it happening. Key men for me are the forwards for both teams, I think. Firmino, what can he do? What can he create with his movement? Cavani, can he allow them to get through the press? Those are my thoughts on this game. I think Liverpool are going to have too much for Man United. Look, never discount the individuals of Man United and Fernandes and Pogba, and that's the best way for me that I see them kind of getting around Liverpool and isolating Reece Williams, being either side of him where he gets frozen as well and doesn't know what to do, because he will have the likes of Pogba just in front of him. Of course, Henderson will be looking to help to protect him. And that's another reason I think that protection of Henderson on that right-hand side could be absolutely integral for Reece Williams surviving this game without getting kind of bullied by the likes of Cavani and Rashford. But it's almost... If you sit on him, I think that's actually a bit better for Reece Williams. But if you stay away from him a little bit, then that's where it might hurt them. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on it. If you enjoyed this video, then hit that like button, and I can do it again for the next games moving on into the future. But the only way I'm going to know that is if you hit the like button. Also, if you subscribe to the channel, of course. Join me on Sunday for this halftime, full-time reaction that I will be doing. Let me know your thoughts on who your starting 11 would be and where you think the key battles are going to be as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.